Welcome to Simtech. I'm Jay and I'm the Technical Director, and today I'd like to introduce you to Simtech and what we do. Now we started over 20 years ago creating wiring looms for the Paris-Dakar rally cars, and since then the business has expanded into three main areas. One is wiring loom design and manufacture. The other is parts and connector supply, so you can build all your own equipment. And the third area is electronics. And the electronics has been driven heavily by our experience in designing wiring looms and working with low volume customers and one-off people building their own kit car looms to build electronics and equipment that improves their functionality in their car and their systems. And we've been working very hard all these years, and our passion is producing all the equipment that you want for your vehicle, from the electronics to the wiring loom to the parts, and making sure that as where we can, they're all British, all our designs are in-house, all our electronics are designed in-house, manufactured in-house, and where we can, we always buy European and British components. And we have been very, very lucky to be involved in a very broad range of electrical automotive engineering. So we have built wiring looms for vehicles underground, in one of the deepest mines in Europe. We've been lucky to build electrical systems for an autonomous vehicle that competed in a challenge in America and came second. We've been lucky to build wiring looms for the Paris-Dakar Rally, where our harnesses have finished in the top 10. We've been very lucky to manufacture harnesses for supercars such as the BAC Mono and for some of the leading kit car manufacturers. So I'd be really pleased if you would stay watching, and we'll show you around our premises and show you where we create the things and how we go about it. As we were talking about earlier, we try to manufacture it. In fact, we don't just try, we manufacture everything in-house. So the only things that we get made out of house are the actual printed circuit boards here. We design the electronics. We have the printed circuit boards made just over the hill in Todmorden, and we assemble them and we test them all in-house. And our biggest goal is to keep our technology bang up to date. So this is our very earliest Body Logic 1, which did lots of things, but as time has progressed and customers have asked for more things, we've evolved it into this slightly bigger version. It has the same processor on it, but it does a lot more, and it now covers a lot more functionality. And we try to do that with all our electronics, and we build and design the electronics, everything from very simple little daughter boards there that just do a little simple job, right the way through to some very complicated units like this, which is a programmable gear shift controller that is a white label product for a particular customer. We're very happy manufacturing our own products, but we're also very happy to manufacture specific products for customers without our name on it and with other people's names on it. And we do our own population. For low volume, we use this workstation. For higher volumes, we have other workstations where we can produce things at a greater volume, and then we assemble them and we run tests on everything before it leaves the premises. So we've had a look at the boards. Now you've seen this bit, we'll move on and we'll have a look at where we do our backup products, our wiring looms and that sort of thing. Well, moving on from the electronics, of course we build the wiring looms either to customer's design or just to match our products. And we start with every colour of wire and every size of wire under the sun. And a loom starts with a basic set of instructions. These are stringing instructions or a drawing. And we either create them from the drawing or from the stringing instructions onto a wooden board. Now this looks very crude with a MDF and some screws, but this is actually the industry standard. And if you go into an OEM manufacturer, they might have slightly better screws and slightly better holes in their board, but this is what you'll find. And we very simply start with an instruction that tells us, and we get our piece of wire of the colour that it tells us and of the size it tells us, and we follow drawing from our or your drawings that you've sent us and created for us. We start here at this connector, and this will be shown on the paperwork, and we will run it all the way along to where it's meant to go, which is, in this instance, this connector. We take our pair of side cuts, and once we've done this, we repeat the process for as many wires as is in the instructions. And in this harness here, this particular harness I know takes 6 hours to string all the cables. Once we've strung it on this board, we tape it up and we take it off, and we'll move over to another room where all the connectors and all the wrapping is put on, and we'll move there next. Once the loom has been strung and we're happy with the layout, we're happy that it's all bunched together and all the correct wires are in place, they get brought into this room where they are finished. And the finishing comprises of 2 or 3 things. One is fitting connectors, where connectors are needed. 2 is wrapping. And 3 is a visual check that we've got the harness right. Now this harness is finished, and the customer specifically specified that it's not to be wrapped because it goes on behind a dashboard. But you can have a number of finishes. So this is a PVC that we would slide over the wires before the termination is done. This is a heat shrink, which is your top end type of motorsport harness. This is very hard to work with in that you have to build looms in a very, very specific way, but it gives a very beautiful finish when you're done. And then the sort of the OEM and the generic, and what is actually a very tough and nice way of doing it is this split convoluted tubing. And this would mean that we would build the harness like this, and then to finish we would just place the wrapping over the wiring and tape it into place. Now obviously this isn't going to fit perfectly because I'm just randomly showing you, but that's how we would finish that. And of course the other important thing here is the termination, and this can range from these very, very simple 6.3mm type connectors, and this harness is quite an old school vehicle for a particular project, and it's very much 6.3mm wherever you can see. But we build harnesses that use these more modern connectors, all waterproofed and sealed. This is a main harness mating plug, and then you'll recognise this as the good old super seal connector that is used on a lot of fans and cooling fan sub-assemblies, and a sensor connector for a cam sensor on a Ford engine. So there are a variety of finishes and a variety of terminations that customers might want. And once we've done that, and once we've assembled the loom and we're happy that it's the right size and we're happy that it's terminated correctly and the wrapping's on, we'll take it through to another room we'll move on to in a minute, where we can do testing. And the testing will involve either a hand test if it's a one-off custom special, or if we're doing some low volume runs for customers, we build a special test harness and we do a very comprehensive test, and we'll show you that next. So we've moved into the testing room. We've assembled our wiring looms, we've wrapped them and we've put the terminals on, and then we place them on this test rig. And this is for a particular important customer of ours, and it's prefixed in place. And this is an amazing piece of kit because it tests every point on the harness to every other point on the harness and does a check to make sure that we've done the connections correctly and the connections are the right resistance. If we're doing smaller volumes, we make up these special adapter harnesses, and they plug into these boards at the back here, and they allow us to test different harnesses at different times. And the minimum amount we do is for a one-off harness, we'll bring it in here, and using the machine we'll test pin to pin to make sure that every pin goes to every connection correctly. So when they're sent out to you, when they're delivered to a low volume customer, or when we send them out to you as a kit car builder, then we know that we've done it to the drawings and everything's right, and it's not going to come back to us, because the last thing we want is to have a bad reputation and have the stuff keep coming back to us. So that's how we sort of get to a finished harness. Once we're at a finished harness, it's then got to go onto the vehicle. And that's either your job, or if you've asked us to do it, it's our job. And we're very pleased. We've got some fabulous cars downstairs, and we'll go back down and we'll have a look what they look like when they've been installed, and the vehicles that they've been installed into. Now you've seen how we manufacture everything and we've explained what we do here, I'd like to show you some of the projects that we've been proud to be involved with. And this is a very odd car. This is a 1952 Ford Thunderbird. The customer has done a beautiful job of fitting this Ford V8 diesel. Very different, and there's reasons for it being different, and it's absolutely fantastic. And we were involved in creating the engine management system and the wiring loom here, and it's come back to us to have some upgrades, and this has now been fitted with an automatic gearbox, an 8-speed auto gearbox, and we're doing some wiring on this. And this is one of the things we're happy to do. We're very excited to do projects like this, but also over here we've got a full spec Rally Raid Land Rover Evoque race car, which we've created all the wiring for and developed the system for, and it's now come back up to us for finalisation and setting up, so it's ready for the customer to take away and put his final details on before he goes racing. But the final thing I want to show you is this rather wonderful MK sports cars that has been brought to us by the Parrott brothers, and we've been very pleased to be involved with creating a wiring loom for it and developing the system so they can have a modern and up-to-date performance wiring loom. And this is the car. It's absolutely smashing. It's brilliant. And at the moment we're just in the process of fitting the loom we've built, and we're supplying the body module. We've created the wiring harness in conjunction with them, discussing where everything has to go. We're fitting one of our Body Logic products, and we've had some special setups for the application. It's going to have a steering wheel with wireless communications and buttons on it, and we've created the whole system all the way through, and they've done a lovely job of putting electric handbrake in it. So this is going to be quite the pinnacle of the technology we've been talking about in the video today. Well, I hope you've enjoyed these videos and what you've seen today around the building. If you're interested in anything that we can help you with, or you need some help, because we're very happy to help people even if we don't necessarily sell them something at high end, please don't hesitate to contact us, and hopefully you'll join us again for future videos.